a very special and unique event that I've never had the chance of experiencing, and it's really awesome that the Smart Guam team has been able to put this together. Not only are we here to meet the people, but we're kind of also here to listen to each other and to hear about what's in store for the next round of leadership should some of us get elected and others be not so fortunate. And for me, I'm very interested and excited to be able to listen to what everybody has to say, because the cameras are rolling, the microphones are on, and hopefully we're going to have some kind of a record here that we're going to be able to tap back into over the course of the next 2 and 4 years to really hold people accountable. Because far too often it becomes the norm in the campaign season for us to get up and say whatever it is that we need to say, and whatever it is that we think everybody wants to hear, and then to go through the course of our terms and not actually deliver on those things. And it's when we finally move away from that and begin holding ourselves and each other more accountable that we're going to be able to really start seeing improvements on our island. And so I'm very, very grateful for the whole Smart Guam team to be putting this together, to be getting this all on the record. Because then we'll be able to look back, and I know most Smart Guam is not going to be going anywhere, and they're going to look back and they're going to hold every single person accountable. So thank you very, very much for taking that necessary step to getting our island one more round forward. You know, for me, when I ran 2 years ago, I ran the Note of Responsible Guam. I made that not only my slogan, but my calling and my commitment to all of you, the voters who are on this island. And that commitment means managing our money well, investing to improve the lives of our people, and making sure that everyone in our community is treated fairly. And I learned these values in my upbringing as a young boy, growing up in the southern village of Nicolas, and I learned it on the knee of my grandfather, Speaker Franklin Nicolas from Nicolas. And these values have nothing to do with whether or not we're going to get more votes than anybody else. It has nothing to do with whether or not we're going to be popular. It has nothing to do with whether or not we're going to attain a higher office that's going to get us more attention and more responsibility. It has everything to do with making sure that we serve each term as if it was our one and only last term, and to getting as many improvements for the lives of our people as we can, so that the people will be permanently affected by the work that we do. And I'm very, very at ease being up here and going up into this election, because I know in my heart that I live up to that upbringing, that I can make my grandfather proud, that I did what I committed to do. And that means the world to me, whether or not anybody can even hear me, but it means the world to me in my heart. And I go into this election with that peace and that comfort. Because the work that we've done has really gone a long way towards steering the conversation for this island. We talk about fiscal responsibility more so than I can remember in the past. We talk about whether or not we're going to be putting our money into a place where we can actually grow our economy and create opportunities for our people and improve the lives of their people. We talk about these things, whether they're Democrat things or Republican things, and we vote on these things with awareness of whether or not it's going to be the best thing for our community going forward. And the ability to just be able to steer that conversation on the legislative floor is perhaps one of the most profound things that I've been able to do as a senator, because it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how many bills you pass, or how many resolutions you give out, or how many certificates you hand out, or how many hands you shake. It has everything to do with the mindset that you begin shifting, and the mentality that you begin crafting, and the long-term horizon that you begin to develop today. It's going to change the course of our island in the next 5, 10, and 15 years. And so long as we can keep that conversation going, so long as we can continue edging is I've actually introduced bills that are trying to get those things done as well. Some of them we were able to get passed into law, which I'm very, very proud of. And the one that really touches my heart is we were able to get all of our foster kids included in the government of Guam health insurance program. The gold standard of health insurance, 100% coverage for all of our foster children. So we can look forward to any child here who's under the care of the state to be under the best healthcare system that we can afford. And that's something that all of us can take pride in because all of us voted for it and the governor allowed it to become law. And that's a bill that I was able to introduce. It's something that really makes me feel good inside. A bill that I introduced that I wasn't able to get passed into law because it got vetoed was a bill that would have created an interstate securities exchange here on this island. And it's a complicated concept, but basically what it does is it takes a special portion of the federal law and it applies it here on Guam, where local companies can be able to go out and seek local investors, and we can facilitate the transaction between company and investor in a local stock market, a local securities exchange. And what that would do is if anybody is out there who ever has a business that they want to grow, or if they have a business idea that they want to get capital for in order to make it a realized dream, is you can go to this exchange, and this exchange will match up the businesses or the ideas for the people who are interested in making those kind of investments here on this island. And our island has a lot of money to invest. I came from the banking industry, and I can tell you that we have anywhere between $4 and $5 billion sitting in savings and checking accounts. And if we can begin to unlock that capital and get our people to start investing in local companies, we're going to see so much growth. Because one of the biggest things that is holding back our ability to generate growth in small business is our access to capital. And anybody who owns a business or has ever tried to start one knows that if I ever want to do any of these things, I need to get money. But the only way I can get money is I can either borrow it from a bank or get it from my own paycheck or get it from family and friends here on Guam. Now the bank isn't going to loan you any money if your business idea is brand new unless you have a lot of money to already put up front to back it up. So you gotta either have your own money or you gotta be able to get money from family and friends, but all three of those things require you to have money to begin with. So how many business ideas and how many dreams never get off the ground because they just can't get the capital to get it started? Those are the kind of things that we need to be incubating. And while we have a lot of different programs out there for small businesses, it never ever replaces the need for individuals to be able to go out there and access capital. And so if we create this interstate securities exchange, we would begin to create an environment where people who have some money sitting in checkings and savings accounts can be getting a phone call one day saying, hey, you know what? I have a business plan here from John Cruz. It's right along the lines of what you filled out in your profile saying that you're interested in investing. Would you like to take a look at the prospectus and see if it's something that you want to invest in? And then all of a sudden, all of that money that's sitting in these deposit accounts will start getting invested into these business ideas. And people will begin to start opening up their dreams and getting their businesses off the ground. And that will create jobs, it will create economic circulation in our monetary supply. It will have so many benefits for our community. So I'm really hoping that the reason why I wasn't able to get that passed was because it was just a complicated concept that needed more explanation. So what I would like to do, if I'm giving another chance in the 33rd Guam legislature, is reintroduce that bill and do a better job of trying to marshal up the necessary support in the public and private sectors to be able to get that bill passed. Because I really think that if we're able to do a venture that's going to provide greater access to capital for our business owners or those who want to open up their own business, we're going to see a lot more small businesses springing up here on Guam and creating opportunities. So that's one of the things that I wasn't successful in the 32nd that I really wanted to follow through in the 33rd. But one of the biggest ones that I want to follow through with is something that we talked about not too long ago, and that's trying to make sure we get Social Security